So we'll get started again. So I want to say also, even though we won't have question and answers tonight here, the candidates will be here after the event is over with, and you'll be able to talk with them one-on-one if you would like to. If you have any questions or concerns that you would like to speak with them about, you will be able to do so after the event. Our first candidate that will come is candidate Olu Brown, pastor and founder of Empower Church. You have 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to say 10 minutes. If you take that much time, that's fine. If you don't.
Thank you so much. My name is Olu Brown. I'm running for governor of Georgia, and I have a vision for all of Georgia because I care about North Georgia. I care about Metro Georgia. I care about Middle Georgia. I care about South Georgia, and I care about Coastal Georgia. This is a people-powered campaign, and this campaign is not about any party. This campaign is about Georgia. Thank you so much, Warner Robins, for allowing me to be here, Mayor Patrick, the city leadership, our county leadership, President Johnson, President Griggs, Mrs. Moore, to Pastor Curvin, to First Baptist Fellowship here. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. I was born in small town America, but I didn't stay there. It led me to starting one of the fastest growing churches in the United States of America in Metro Atlanta called Impact Church. And there, as CEO, as pastor, led a multi-million-dollar development that helped transform that part of Metro Atlanta, but made an impact not only throughout the state of Georgia, but literally throughout the world. My whole life has been one of a public servant, one as an educator, one as a pastor, one as a community champion, and now as a public servant serving as your next governor. Through my work over the years, we helped transform underserved regions of our state to help make an economic impact and be a catalyst for change. And that's the word that we're focusing on tonight. To be a change agent as a governor, to be a change agent as a leader, that has been the dedication of my entire life. Not only have I served as an educator, not only have I served as a pastor, I am currently a small business leader. I've written over 9 books. I've helped economic development. I also launched a business that trains marketplace leaders throughout Georgia and throughout the United States of America. I believe in small business leadership. I believe in developing leaders. I believe in community. But most importantly, as your next governor, I believe in you. So what is the reality? Georgia has become one of the best places to do business. But here's the second reality. Our quality of life is horrible. Healthcare is inaccessible. Traffic is terrible. Housing is expensive. Flooding and climate disasters are increasing. Students are being left behind, and financial mobility is obsolete. Over the last year, I've held more than 50 listening sessions across our state, and people have given the vision, and they've made it plain. I've met with farmers. I've met with labor. I've met with educators. I've met with healthcare. I've met with academia. I've met with entertainment, faith community leaders, seniors, and retirees. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was in Greensboro, Georgia, Greens County, rural Georgia, meeting with healthcare leaders for the Oconee Valley Healthcare. They told me in Greene County, Georgia, there isn't a single daycare in the entire county. And they also talked about the healthcare disparity of rural Georgia. Here's what I need you to know as your next governor. You won't have to come to the Capitol to see me. I will come to your community. I will come to your city. I will come to your county, and I will come to your town. So here are the top 6. Number 1, we're going to grow our state's economy. Number 2, we're going to increase from minimum wage to a living wage. Number 3, we're going to provide universal health care access. Number 4, we're going to transform public education. Number 5, We're going to have more affordable housing and transit innovation. Number 6, freedom for all, reproductive rights and voting rights. But quickly, let me drill down on 3. We must shift in our state from a minimum wage to a living wage. Our current rate is $5.15 an hour. That was set in 1997. The solution, we've got to create a tiered wage standard for metro versus rural areas, tie increases to inflation, and provide support for small businesses during the transition. But what about health care? We have to offer universal health care access to all citizens. With the recent changes in the federal government, more than 600,000 Georgians will lose health care. What is the solution? We need a universal health care plan for Georgia that gives everyone in Georgia automatic health care coverage. But finally, what about transforming education? What's the problem? Georgia's QBE funding formula was created 40 years ago, and our schools are stuck in the 1980s with outdated seat time requirements, excessive testing, and outdated curriculums. Almost 5,000 teacher shortage right now in the state of Georgia. What is the solution? We have to deliver a modern student-centered education system, redesign the funding formula that makes it student-centered, and modernize curriculum to competency-based models. But finally, we have to expand apprenticeships. We have to launch interstate learning exchange programs. We have to raise teacher pay. I'm going to say it again. We have to raise teacher pay. We have to raise teacher pay. And we must focus on the whole child, liberal arts, nutrition, physical education, and mental health. My name is Olu Brown. I am running for governor of Georgia because I want to fight with you to increase the quality of life for all Georgians. I see you. I care about you, and I am a part of your community. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Go to oluforga.com to support. God bless you.
Thank you so much. The next candidate will be a video for candidate Chris Carr, who is currently the Georgia Attorney General for Georgia. Do we have the
Good
video?
evening, everybody. I want to thank President Jonathan Johnson and Ms. Armstrong for inviting me to join you tonight. I wish I could be there in person, but I didn't want to miss the chance to share my vision for Georgia's future. I'm Chris Carr, and I'm running for governor because Georgia is the model for the nation. And I'm committed to building on our progress to keep our state strong. I've had the privilege of serving as Economic Development Commissioner and now as Attorney General. We've made and kept Georgia the #1 state to do business, and we've worked to keep our communities safe, taking on gangs, shutting down human trafficking networks, and fighting the fentanyl crisis head on. As governor, I will work every day to ensure Georgia families have safe neighborhoods, world-class schools, good jobs, and a government that's accountable to the people. That means lower taxes, keeping Georgia's tax burden the lowest in the South while making smart, conservative decisions that provide relief and fund priorities like education, public safety, and infrastructure. Safe communities, expanding our work to fight gangs, get fentanyl off our streets, and protect the most vulnerable. No matter who you are or where you live, every Georgian deserves to feel safe, respected, and valued. One of the ways in which Georgia stands above the rest is in our response to tragedy. I'll never forget receiving the call and seeing the gut-wrenching video of Ahmaud Arbery's murder in Brunswick. I can't imagine the fear Ahmaud felt coming around that pickup truck. And if that were my child, I would have wanted someone to do something as well. After reviewing the footage, I immediately worked with the governor and GBI to get state officials on the ground the next day to take over the investigation. While nothing can bring Ahmaud back, I'm proud we were able to bring his killers to justice. And in addition to safety, it also takes educational opportunities for every child, from early childhood programs to technical training to four-year degrees, to make sure every student can succeed. Economic growth, attracting good-paying jobs, supporting small businesses, and ensuring every community, rural, suburban, and urban, can thrive. We share a commitment to expanding opportunity, making sure every child has access to a quality education, every family a fair shot at success, and every community the chance to prosper. Georgia has incredible people, incredible resources, and a bright future. But we can't take our success for granted. We must keep working together to create opportunity, strengthen communities, and make our state an even better place to live, work, and raise a family. Thank you again for letting me be part of your evening. I appreciate your time, your leadership, and your commitment to our state. I look forward to earning your support as we build Georgia's next chapter together. May God bless you, and may God bless the great state of Georgia.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone, if you would please put your phones, cell phones on silent, on mute, so they won't ring out, especially when the candidates are speaking. Thank you. Our next candidate will be Senator Jason Estevez. He's currently the state senator for District 35.
Good evening, Warner Robins. My name is Jason Estevez, and I'm the proud state senator from Senate District 35, representing parts of West Atlanta, Cobb, and Fulton County. It is an honor to be in front of all of you. I am also running to be the next governor of the state of Georgia. I am proud to be the husband to my wife, Ariel, a nurse practitioner from Albany, Georgia, the father of Jaden, 9-year-old Jaden, and 70-year-old Zoe, 70-year-old going on 16, sometimes it feels like. Some of y'all know what that feels like. But my journey started long before that. Started in Columbus, Georgia, where I was raised by two parents who didn't go to college, but they gave me everything I needed. They gave me love. They gave me work ethic. And they gave me the values of loving my God and loving my neighbors. It is those values that I took with me into the classroom, where my very first job out of college was teaching middle school social studies. By the way, that job is still the hardest job I've ever had in my life. If you're an educator, a retired educator, please stand up so we can give you an applause. Thank you all for doing the work. And I know we have superintendents in the room, we have school board members in the room. Thank you for doing the work, but you educators doing the work to teach our future, prepare our future. When I started in the classroom, I was teaching 150 kids who were no different than anybody in this room. They were just as willing to work hard. They were just as smart. They had the same kinds of dreams. But because of where they lived, they did not have the same kinds of opportunities. And as a 21-year-old teacher, I felt that that was wrong. It was unfair. And I did everything that I could in the classroom to change the circumstances for those children, because I wanted to make sure that they had a fair shot. It is that passion from the classroom that I took with me to law school at Emory University, where I wanted to become a policymaker and change a system that was unfair for too many. It's from there that I joined the Atlanta Public Schools Board of Education. When I was elected during a time in the wake of a cheating scandal that rocked the country, where you literally had a superintendent, teachers, and principals getting arrested. My colleagues and I worked hard to rebuild trust at a time when it was broken, not just with teachers and parents, but with students. We worked with the community to rebuild that trust. We redirected money from the administration into the classrooms. We gave teachers pay raises that they deserved. And because of the work that we did, when we started in APS, it was graduating about 55% of its children. By the time I was done, we were graduating over 80%, and now APS has a higher graduation rate than the state of Georgia. And while that deserves a round of applause. But APS is not perfect. And what I learned in the classroom and on the school board is that we rely on our teachers to solve the problems that we have in our communities. If a student came to school hungry, then teachers were expected to do something about it. If they came to school with mental health issues, then teachers had to do something about it. If they needed clothing, if their parents needed jobs, then teachers had to be creative about how to solve those problems. I ran for the state senate because I believe that our teachers and our students deserve better. And when I joined the state senate, I worked hard across the aisle to address issues, going after corporate landlords who were buying up all of our homes and raising our rents. I worked hard to make sure that we were expanding access to health care, to fully fund our education system, and to save senior citizens in Atlanta millions of dollars off of their property taxes. But as I was doing this work, I found politicians like Burt Jones, Chris Carr, and Jeff Duncan distracted by politics, putting politics ahead of people. I'm running for governor because people deserve better than what they're getting in their leadership today. Georgia deserves better. We have a state where 70% of our children are not reading on grade level by the time they reach 4th grade. 70% of our children are not reading on grade level by the time they reach 4th grade. Where we have the #1 worst rate of maternal mortality, especially for black women, in the entire country. Where rural hospitals are closing. Where our seniors are living in poverty. And for those of you who don't know, Georgia has the 3rd highest rate of seniors living in poverty. All of that while our governor sits on $16 billion of your tax dollars. Y'all, Georgia deserves better. We need leaders who will stay in the fight and deliver for Georgians all across this state. As governor, I will make sure that I stand up to the chaos and the destruction that is going on in Washington, D.C., costing Georgians millions of dollars, thousands of jobs, sowing chaos and fear about the future of our country and our state. I will also fight to expand Medicaid, but also make sure that we're increasing the number of rural health centers and hospitals, increasing access to private health insurance. We also need a housing revolution because housing has gotten too expensive all across this state. Whether you're renting, whether you're buying your first home, whether you're trying to downsize and retire, you can't do so because it's gotten so expensive. We need to take corporate landlords and kick them out of the state of Georgia. We need to make sure that we're increasing and actually lowering the costs that it costs to build a home in this state, whether it's an apartment, whether it's a single family home, whether it's a duplex. We need big houses, we need small houses, we need cheap houses, we need expensive houses. Georgia needs over 300,000 homes in the next 4 years. I'm also going to make sure that we invest in our families and invest in our children. We need to cut down the cost of child care because in this state, child care costs more than in-state tuition at your local university. For y'all who haven't had babies in a while, I'm going to say that again. It costs more to send your child to Middle Georgia State University. It's actually cheaper to send your child to Middle Georgia State University than it is to send them to daycare. But on the back end, we have to make sure that we give our young adults a real option at a good paying job. If they want to go to college, we should give them the Hope Scholarship, but we should also give them a needs-based scholarship. Georgia is one of 2 states that does not have needs-based scholarships. We have to make sure that our schools are fully funded, but we also have to make sure that we have apprenticeship programs and a strong technical college system for the students who want to go straight into work. I also want to make sure that we're investing in small businesses. And as a small business owner myself, my wife owns an urgent care and we own 2 restaurants, one in Columbus and one in Macon. We own the Flying Biscuit Cafe in downtown Macon. And I know that small businesses are the backbone of this state. And we should be showing our small business owners the same kind of love that Brian Kemp shows Hyundai and Rivian. That's why I'm proposing $1 billion fund to provide low-interest loans to our small business owners, because I know that the #1 barrier to opening a small business, especially for black businesses, is access to capital. Y'all, this is the kind of vision that we need for Georgia. A vision for a Georgia where it doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter where you're from, but you have the opportunity to prosper, not based on luck, but based on hard work. Y'all, we deserve a governor that is going to focus on the future, cut through the chaos, and make sure that we deliver results for families all across this state. I've been working crisscrossing this state from South Georgia all the way to North Georgia, from the coast all the way to my hometown of Columbus, talking about how we're going to keep and grow the money in people's pockets. Not being afraid to go in red counties, just like we're going in blue counties. That's the work that it's going to take to win this election next year. And I'm confident that if we work together over the next year, if we stand together over the next year, if we organize together over the next year, we will not only win this governorship in 2026, we're going to change the face of leadership in this state for generations to come. Thank you all so much for having me here this evening. My name is Jason Estevez. You can follow me on jasonestevez.com, @JasonEstevez. Again, thank you so much.
Next, we will have candidate Keisha Lance Bottom, former mayor of Atlanta, Georgia. Video. She could not be here tonight.
NAACP. And thank you so much to President Jonathan, Ms. Armstrong, and the entire NAACP family for inviting me to speak with you all. Your leadership and continued work towards unity, civil rights, and social justice are a model for us all. I'm sorry I can't be with you this evening, as I had stopped scheduled in Savannah with Mayor Johnson and Representative Al Williams in Hinesville and others on my Standing Up for Georgia tour. Thank you for allowing me to share this video message. I used to work at a television station in Macon and have a great deal of love and admiration for the people of Central Georgia. I'm looking forward to seeing you all very soon at a campaign event in the area. From the 1962 bus boycott to leading the charge to demand better conditions at the Bibb County Jail, to seeking accountability and justice on behalf of Georgians, the work that you have done and are doing here in Central Georgia is resonating across the state. And it's exactly what we need more of across this country. For its 116 years of existence, the NAACP has been at the forefront of justice and civil rights through both pain and progress. Given what we're seeing around the country, the work you do is important now more than ever. We've all seen the chaos coming from the federal government in Washington, D.C., from the erasure of our history at the National Museum of African American History and Culture and other Smithsonian museums, to the big ugly bill that slashed Medicaid and food programs, to firing hundreds of thousands of federal employees, including CDC workers right here in Georgia. Trump's election in November was a wake-up call for me, and I'm sure many others. I woke up the day after thinking, what does this mean for my family, for my community, and how can I help in this moment? I felt called to fight to turn things around for our state and our nation. That's why I'm running for governor, to stand up for Georgians and to support access to health care, civil rights, and a more affordable Georgia with opportunities for everyone to thrive. In the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., there is a fierce urgency of now. So many of us across the state are feeling anxiety, frustration, and fear. Georgia needs a leader and governor who will fight for us, stand up against the Trump administration's chaos and destruction, and move our state forward. That's what I'll do as governor. As at least a fifth-generation Georgian, my love for this state runs deep. We can trace our family's roots back to a plantation in Crawfordville, Georgia. And what I know is that this state has and should always be a place of opportunity. Even in the worst of times, my people never gave up on the promise of Georgia. They didn't give up on the promise of America as a whole. So as Georgians, when we look at all we've endured, I'm reminded that we are the cradle of the civil rights movement. John Lewis never gave up, Martin Luther King Jr. never gave out, William Randall never gave in, and neither can we. I've been called to public service, from my service as a judge, a city council member, to serving as the 60th mayor of Atlanta. I've always fought to build opportunities for working families in Georgia, just like the one I grew up in. That's why I'm running for governor, to continue standing up for Georgians across the state in the midst of uncertainty. No matter how much chaos Donald Trump creates, he can't take away our hope and what we know is possible here in Georgia. It starts with Georgians having a governor with steady and compassionate leadership, and a governor who's willing to get in the ring with Donald Trump and stand up with solutions that will make a difference for our communities. I've done it before as mayor, during Trump's first term, and I will do it again as governor during his second term. As governor, I envision a brighter future for all of Georgia families, one where healthcare is affordable and accessible, where teachers earn fair wages and can support our students, and where small businesses don't just survive but thrive, and where people can get ahead. I'm focused on 3 key issues. Number 1 is lowering costs and affordability for working families. With Trump's passing of the Big Ugly Bill, also known as one of the most significant Medicaid cuts in American history, it shows why we need strong state leadership that will stand up for Georgians. This disastrous bill is nothing less than an all-out assault on healthcare, grocery assistance, and clean energy manufacturing jobs, critical programs that literally keep Georgians alive and employed. It will mean that 17 million Americans and nearly 700,000 Georgians will lose health care coverage, and more rural hospitals are at risk of closing. With over 27% of Bibb County residents and 19% of Houston County residents relying on Medicaid coverage, those harmful policies directly impact your families, friends, and neighbors. Georgians deserve a governor who will stand up to reckless ideas and take action to make health care more affordable and accessible. That's why, as governor, I'll take immediate action to expand Medicaid in Georgia, keep our communities safe and healthy, protect our rural hospitals, and block any policy, red or blue, that hurts the people of this state. Number 2 is education. With schools back in session, we're seeing a significant statewide teacher shortage here in Georgia. To help retain teachers, recruit new educators, and invest in our children's education, I propose eliminating the state income tax for teachers. The future of education is at stake, and as governor and a mother of 4, I'm committed to creating more pathways to a better future for Georgia's students. The Trump administration's recent attacks on education have created significant delays in federal funding for school districts, including those in Houston and Bibb counties. Bibb County schools in particular rely on this aid. During the 2021 school year, the district received nearly $64 million in federal revenue to support vital programs like special education services and free or reduced meals for students from low-income families. These programs are a lifeline for making families, especially given that 20% live below the federal poverty line and another 35% struggle to make ends meet. Georgians deserve a leader who will fight for Georgia's students and the future of our children's education by protecting this critical funding. That's why, as governor, I plan to make Georgia one of the best places for education by making strong investments in our K-12 school system, supporting the educators who train our future leaders, and investing in colleges and career readiness training. Number 3 are Georgia's small business owners. I'm proud of the work we did in Atlanta to grow small businesses and entrepreneurship and to help them survive difficult times during the pandemic. My mom owned a small business, a hair salon, so I understand the small margins that small business owners face. Now many small businesses in Georgia, including so many Black-owned small businesses, face a crisis of Donald Trump's making. If you or someone you know is a small business owner, then you know that Trump's tariffs are directly impacting them. With 45% of Georgians employed by small businesses, the impact of the tariff not only affects the company, but its employees and our communities. As governor, I'll invest in small businesses and local industries, creating economic opportunities and good-paying jobs, just as I did as mayor. I know it won't be easy, but I'm no stranger to big challenges and the chaos that comes with Trump's administration. I'm a battle-tested leader with experience leading and delivering for Georgians during tough times. I was the mayor of Atlanta 3 out of the 4 years of Trump's first administration. As mayor, we made historic progress to deliver for Georgians, even in the midst of adversity and an economic downturn. I invested in affordable housing and created jobs by securing millions of dollars towards affordable housing and developing a workforce training program at Atlanta Area Tech in partnership with companies like Delta Airlines, the Home Depot, Truist Bank, and Georgia Power. These are the type of opportunities that can be replicated statewide. We left office with a balanced budget and $181 million in a rainy day fund to withstand future emergencies. And we did this all without raising taxes, firing workers, or reducing services. That's what solid, responsible, and strong leadership looks like. And I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and deliver for our state. In these moments of uncertainty, we need a battle-tested leader with a track record of standing up and delivering economic progress, even in tough times. That's why I'm running for governor of Georgia. Our families, communities, and hard-working Georgians deserve much better than what we are getting now. I look forward to seeing you all soon in Central Georgia. It's been 26 years since Georgia elected a Democratic governor. I'm ready to make history and to stand up for Georgians and to deliver the progress we need. Let's build a better Georgia together. Thank you again to the Houston and Macon-Bibb County NAACP.
The next candidate you will hear from is Derek Jackson, State Representative, District 68.
Good evening, Houston. Good evening, Houston. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Because 5 years ago, we could not assemble in a place such as this. I had prepared notes, and Pastor Kirby, your prayer touched me, sir. I'm going to speak from the heart. And while I'm speaking from the heart, let me speak about my heart. Her name is Camilla Jackson, the Honorable Camilla Jackson. My lovely wife and I, we have 7 amazing young adults. Yes, I said 7. 4 daughters and 3 sons. And when I think about our family, our children are products of the public education system. One is a doctor, graduated from Meharry, did her undergrad at Fisk. One graduated from Yale. Our son just graduated from Duke, not with 1 degree, but 2, a bachelor's and a master's. Got a son that's played for Coach Prime for 2 years at Jackson State. Now he's up at Kennesaw. He graduates this year, a civil engineer. Got another daughter that's down in Louisiana in her 2nd year, being a doctor. And the youngest at Morehouse. I don't tell you that to impress you, but to impress upon you With a Governor Derrick Jackson, I'm going to wake up each and every day thinking about what can I do for you and your family. If I may speak from the heart, because one of the things that you're going to discover, well, all of us, we don't know if it's going to be 8 of us or 12 of us running for governor, seems to grow every day. But we can't say one thing, ladies and gentlemen, then vote another way. Enough playing politics. Because when Pastor Kirby was praying or preaching, he was talking to me. See, I'm a truth teller. Some people call me radical, and that's okay because they call Jesus Christ radical. They call Dr. King radical. They call our Senator Warnock radical. So I'm in good company. But when I wake up each and every day, one with 42 years of leadership experience, leadership, service, and experience. My mother that's looking down from heaven, single mother, raised her only son that became a naval officer. I did 22 years in the United States Navy, 7 deployments, 4 combat missions, 2 special operations, and 1 humanitarian. Now, I know some people say they're battle tested. That sounds good on a bumper sticker. But just yesterday, you have a commander-in-chief that's called himself a war hero. And I know we have some men and women who have served. I see my good friend, right? But for those men and women who put on the uniform to protect and defend the democracy of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, it's hard for someone to tell me that they stand up for a country, but yet they watched the Capitol under attack and did nothing. I'm a truth teller. I'm a radical truth teller. So when you look up all of our candidates running for governor, don't just look at their sound bites. Don't look at the money they raise. Because the truth be told, the money that they raise, they didn't make all 7,100 phone calls to those 7,100 people that helped them raise the money. It's a machine that's behind them. We watched one candidate jumped in the race and he made 1 phone call to his daddy and got $10 million. So don't make money the metric, ladies and gentlemen. This is about lives right now. And you have to make the right decision come 2026. See, because if 2026 you make the wrong decision, we already see what consequences are. We can't wait till November 2026. I'm fighting for you right now. See, because we're at war. And I'm not talking about the wars that I'm accustomed with, bombs and missiles. No, we're at a different kind of war. See, because Project 2025 was very clear what they were going to do. But we didn't pay attention. 89 million people did not vote that were registered voters. 75 million of us voted for her. 75 million of us. In fact, I was one of her surrogates for Georgia. 77 million voted for a convicted felon that talked about he was for economics. This battle right now that we're in is not about economics. Don't be fooled. Because if it was about economics, we all know when Democrats are running the show, we make things right. People are not voting because of kitchen table things. No, don't be fooled. They're voting their interests. So I'm fighting for your family right now. When I fight for public education, for example, look up Senate Bill 82. Look it up. Senate Bill 82. It's a pro-charter bill that that Republicans push. And if you see a Democrat voting yes for that, that tells you who they are. Look it up. You're going to have to do some homework. If a Democrat voted yes on Senate Bill 244, the pro-Trump bill, which means that Georgians are going to be held accountable to pay Trump's $6.2 million bill. That's wrong. Why are we letting Georgians be accountable for paying a criminal's legal fees? As your governor, I will stand up against Trump. See, because whoever gets elected in 2026, we're going to have to deal with him. He is withholding right now $5 billion of our FEMA money that devastated South Georgia. So right now, his agenda is to make us sick, dumb, poor, and powerless. That big ugly bill is going to make us sick. You don't take $1 trillion out of Medicaid and think it's going to be okay. As one is taking care of our soon-to-be 89-year-old aunt. Without her Medicaid and her Social Security, it would devastate our family. This is a real fight. He's trying to make us dumb by dismantling the Department of Education, something that Jimmy Carter, our beloved Jimmy Carter, created. I'm going to be a governor to empower superintendents and get out of the way. Give you the resources and the tools so you can create a conducive learning environment and then get out of the way. Empower our teachers and then get out of the way. And oh yeah, by the way, teachers, I'm the only one talking about helping your retirement system and make it right. So that way we can not only retain you and recruit you, but when you go to retire, you're not working at Walmart. My mother-in-law is an educator, and she's still working at 75. So when I'm saying what I'm going to do for your family, I get this real time in my family. My mother was a nurse for 40 years. 40 years before she left this world. So I understand what it means to lead with compassion. So when Pastor Kirby was praying, it reminded me, the Holy Spirit reminded me that, Derek, you are a Proverbs 31:8-9 individual. Don't worry about Googling and looking it up. It just simply says, you are the voice for the voiceless. That's me, a retired lieutenant commander. See, because the other thing that he's trying to do, make us sick, make us poor, but then make us powerless. They already gutted the Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act. Now they want to clean it up and go after Section 2. See, Section 2, if they gut Section 2, it's going to make it hard for my good brother, President Griggs, and them to litigate, because everything is around discrimination. We should not be living in a country where we do not have rights. If you ever wondered what would it have been like to fight for civil rights in the 50s, you now have your opportunity. Because I know we have a lot of men and women who served in the military. We have some outstanding police officers in here that I had the opportunity to talk to a few of them. Those who put on the uniform to serve. I'm running to become your governor to serve you, not to be served. This is not about a title for me. This is not about a title. This is about service to help the least of these. John Lewis said it best. If I could sum it up, he said, if you see something that's not right, not fair, and unjust, you have a moral obligation to do something. And I'm exercising my moral obligation to do something. You're not going to find me saying one thing in Houston County and then saying something else in Macon Bibb. See, the beautiful thing my mother taught me, Pastor Kirby, was this. She said, Derek, always tell the truth, because if you don't, if you tell the truth, you don't have to memorize it. I'm just speaking from the heart for a second, because I came with some prepared notes. And as a PhD candidate, I can articulate very well. But his prayer touched me, ladies and gentlemen. We're at war. This is not about, I can't talk about AI, I can't talk about Medicaid expansion, I can't talk about anything else if we do not have a democracy, if we do not have humanity. We should be able to love each other. White, black, urban, suburban, old, young. That's what the Navy taught me for 22 years. I didn't care if you was from Wisconsin or Iowa or New York. It was about the mission. And the mission right now is to make sure that all Georgians are insulated from what is happening in Washington, D.C. No one should have the fear of leaving their homes every day. But as I crisscross Georgia, they're being afraid of being detained. Some Georgians already are under the belief that we already lost our democracy. They are afraid of leaving their homes. When ICE showed up in my district, I was not silent. I went to the press. And if I ever catch ICE in District 68, they are in trouble. See, because one of the things you got to remember, ladies and gentlemen, the governor is not just the chief executive officer of the state, it is also the commander-in-chief. We never had a commander-in-chief with 22 years of military experience. Never. That's what you would get with a Derek Jackson, a fully qualified individual to make sure all of our families are safe, because they will not sin. And when we talking about boots on the ground, see, that means something different for those of us who serve. It's not just a catchy song or a catchy theme. And the reason why they're doing this, because they want you to get immune to martial law. I'm just telling you. See, it's great to talk about gas prices and affordable and all that stuff, but if you got martial law, you got a different kind of situation for all of our families. And they're doing it. See, I'm a governor that's studying them right now. See, because my campaign, we got an offense and a defense. We understand how to do this because the Navy taught me very well how to do this, how to protect and defend the Constitution, something that I had to repeat 17 times. The oath doesn't have an expiration with me.
1 minute left.
That's all I need, 60 seconds. So I don't give you a prepared speech tonight. I'm going to be around, but I encourage you all to go to votederekjackson.org. It's who I am. It's who I've always been. You can look at my timeline. You see no gaps. I don't just say this when it's time for election. I say this all the time. But when you start to see other candidates and they got gaps in their timeline, that tells you something. I'm the only one talking about that we will have a state PRO-Act bill to empower labor. I'm the only one talking about it because labor is what built this country. We're going to continue to need labor because labor is also part of our family. I'm Derek Jackson, and I will be your next governor. Thank you.
Next, you will hear from our candidate, Burt Jones, which will be a video presentation.
Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, and I've had the honor of serving as your Lieutenant Governor for the last 3 years. I'm sorry I couldn't be there this evening, but I appreciate the opportunity to allow me to introduce myself. I was born in Middle Georgia, 6th generation Georgian, the product of public educators. Our family philosophy was always very simple. Bring more to the table than you take away, and treat everyone how you want to be treated. Like a lot of Georgians, we learned from an early age about community involvement, the value of hard work, and working across the street to help out your neighbor. Those values seem simple, but they have been the guide in my life that I've relied on in childhood to my college days until today. They helped me when I was a walk-on at the University of Georgia and became team captain for an SEC championship team, to starting a business, now employing thousands of individuals here in Middle Georgia. Those same values are instrumental during my time in the legislature, as a state senator and now as your lieutenant governor. Let's face it, there are challenges across the state, and a common sense approach is the best way to address the needs of the communities within this state. This means focusing on kitchen table issues, like cutting your taxes, providing a good education, giving you good access to health care, and better transportation. I think this type of business approach is needed in our leaders of today, and I think this type of approach will improve the lives of all Georgians. I think you know how to spend your money the best, and that's why I'm for eliminating our state income tax. Because instead of incentivizing large corporations, I want to incentivize individuals and small businesses all across Georgia. I will continue to lead the charge on education by ensuring parents the right to make the best choice for their child, while also fully funding public education. You can do both. You can support school choice and public education. At the end of the day, the focus should be on the child. I also believe every Georgian deserves access to the right care at the right time and in their backyard. This is why I will continue to lead the charge on reforming Georgia's antiquated Certificate of Need laws. In closing, I will make you this promise. I will always try to find common ground on any issue, and I always will treat people how they want to be treated. And I won't shy away from any topic if it's in the best interest for all Georgians. Thank you for your time. Thank you again for allowing me to speak this evening. I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail. If we can ever be of service to you, please don't hesitate to call. Take care and God bless.
Our next candidate will be Michael Thurman, former Georgia Labor Commissioner. He will also have a presentation, a video presentation.
Good evening. Roll it.
We got our boots on Georgia ground. We got our boots on Georgia ground. Get up out of your seat. We gotta get into the street. Lick Mike Thurman, governor in 2026. Inflation, healthcare, crime, all that he'll fix. All these things he'll fix. Where the voters at? Where the voters at? Mike's hat is in the ring. He'll work for all the people. We don't need no king.
Don't get discouraged. Don't give up.
We got our boots on Georgia ground. We got our boots on Georgia ground. From Georgia's red clay fields, Mike is tried and true. Leadership hard and good.
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Vote for MIKE.
Good evening, Warner Robin. I'm Mike Thurman. With your prayers, your vote, and your support, I will be the 84th governor of the great state of Georgia. I come to you this evening, and you know, I told my wife, sometimes maybe something ain't quite right with me, but I ain't scared. I am not tired. I'm not frustrated. I'm not giving out, and I'm not giving in. Politicians come and politicians go. Trump may be in the White House, but God is still on his throne. God is still on the throne. So what I come here to tell you tonight, that if you and I will rise together, if you and I will stand in the gap at this critical moment in the history of our nation, we will make sure that 750,000 Georgians will not lose their Medicaid. If you and I will stand together, not just with me, but with the candidates on this stage, we can ensure that every child will have access to a quality education. And it doesn't matter whether you're born in North Georgia, Middle Georgia, or South Georgia. What I come to tell you is God don't make no junk. And every child will have access to a quality education. I am a former school superintendent of DeKalb County, Georgia. During my tenure, we increased the graduation rate. We increased the test scores. We eliminated a $27 million deficit and left a $90 million surplus. And let me tell you how we did it. It wasn't me. I listened to the teachers in the classroom. I listened to what they were saying. I appreciate that Senator Estevez asked the educators to stand up, but I want to go a little bit further. I don't want just the educators to stand up. I want the bus drivers. I want the cooks. Because you know if the buses don't run, the schools don't open. And if the cooks don't cook, everybody going home. So I want all the educators to stand up, and let's give them a round of applause. Stand up, educators. All my educators. All my educators. Also, the way we did it was we empowered parents. Parents are the first teachers. And I know what you're saying, but wait, Mike, some parents may not be in a position to help with trigonometry and math. I tell the story all the time that my daddy was a sharecropper. Yes, he was. And it wasn't just my daddy was a sharecropper. My daddy's daddy was a sharecropper. And you know, all I should have ever hoped to be was what? A sharecropper. But the next time you see me, look a little bit closer. Look past the blue suit. And let me tell you something. Because if you look into my heart and my soul, you'll find the heart and soul of a Georgia sharecropper. Because sharecroppers can take a little bit and do a whole lot with it. You see, look a little bit closer, because you're getting ready to elect a governor who was the son of a sharecropper. And you see, I'm a sharecropper, but I'm a sharecropper with a law degree, and that make me a bad man. I'm just telling you that. That make me a bad man. And so we got to have an education system with multiple pathways to success. Go to Folk Valley State, go to Albany State, go to Macon, Middle Georgia State. That's good. Get a liberal arts degree. But we got to teach our parents and our students that it's just as honorable to go to the technical college. It's just as honorable. It's just as honorable to engage in an apprenticeship program with a local union. It's just as honorable, like Representative Jackson, to create a career in the military. See, when I was labor commissioner, I learned something. White collar, blue collar, no collar. It's not the color of the collar, but it's the green and the dollar that make all the difference. It's the green and the dollar. So we'll have an education system that's going to lift up particularly our young men. Our young men. Look inside a Georgia prison. You'll find 50,000 people. And the disproportionate number of those people in prison today are young black men. And see, there are some of us who think somehow maybe young black men are genetically predisposed to crime. Genetically predisposed, but I come to tell you something. I read a book a long time ago. The crime rate for young black men with jobs is the same as it is for young white men with jobs. Let me say it again. I'm a lawyer. We got any white lawyers in white lawyers? I'm a lawyer. I'm no more likely to steal your money as a white lawyer is to steal your money. Am I right? We got to make sure that our young men have access to real jobs so they can support themselves and their families. We're going to have an education system that encourages young men who want to become plumbers or technicians at Warner Robins. Because let me tell you, technicians at Warner Robins make over $100,000 a year. Is that right? Work has dignity, and it doesn't matter what type of, it's honest work for honest pay. The third thing we're going to do is we are going to build a coalition. Black folk, white folk, urban and rural, Christian, Jew, Muslim, Gentile, Protestants and Catholics, the true believers, and maybe a few sinners. But we're going to build a coalition of the willing, so that we can stand up to Trump, right? Because right has no color. Right is right. And we will fight here in Georgia, and I like what Jackson said, boots on the ground, not just at home, but boots on the ground under the gold dome, boots on the ground at the school board, boots on the ground at the county commission meeting. As your governor, I promise you this, I'm going to work every day. I thank you all for supporting me for 3 elections here in Houston County when I was elected your labor commissioner. I thank you all for giving me this opportunity. And most of all, I thank you all for not giving up, not giving out, and not giving in. This will not be the first time that someone did something for bad and we turned it around for good. We're going to rise together, we're going to fight together, and we're going to help Georgia become not the state that it is, but the state that it must become in order for all of us to have hospitals in rural Georgia, to have access to doctors in middle Georgia, to have jobs in middle Georgia, to have parents who can send their children off to college and have them come home to work and not leave and never come back again. Thank y'all so much for letting me come. Thank y'all for giving the sharecropper son this opportunity. Born on the dead end of a dirt road in a house with no indoor bathroom. But my daddy told me something one day. He said, son, look at that old dirt road. Let me tell you something. It's a magic road. I said, Dad, ain't nothing magic about that old dirt road. He said, yes, it is, son. If you get on that old dirt road with a belief in God and a belief in hard work, that old dirt road will take you anywhere you want to go in life. I got on that old dirt road a long time ago, and that old dirt road going to take me from the dirt road down on West Paces Ferry to the governor's mansion. Thank y'all so much.
And our last candidate for the evening is Ken Yazar, Sergeant, Georgia Army National Guard, currently.
Good evening, everybody. I don't know how I could follow that, but I'm glad he walked around because I did not want to stand behind that podium. So I'm glad that he came up here because I wasn't sure if I was allowed to or not, because I've been yelled at a couple times already. All right, so it is truly an honor to be here, and I don't just say that as a candidate, I mean that truly because not everybody has given me a shot yet. Not a lot of people have heard my name. Why? Because I'm not raising money. I'm not raising a lot of money because I'm trying to get money out of politics. We have the greatest political system in the world, but money is ruining it. It ruins the candidates. It makes the system look bad. I'm here because I truly love people. If you follow my social media, you follow my website, you will realize that I have seen these videos of the other Republicans. I get it's a primary. I've seen them live and I've seen those videos. The two are not the same. Not all Republicans are created equal. I promise you that. I get called a rhino, Republican in name only. It's just a name, isn't it? But these Republicans can be better Republicans. I'd rather be the better American. I have served in the military for 14 years. I was born in Ohio. My dad was in the Air Force and moved all around the country, so I've seen all over the country. I've lived everywhere, so I know what a lot of people are going through. I see everybody. This is the farthest east I've ever lived. I was stationed at the 1st Ranger Battalion in Savannah, Georgia for 4 years, where I deployed twice to Afghanistan. And then in 2015, I transitioned to the Georgia Army National Guard, where I've been for 10 years now, where I deployed to Afghanistan again in 2019, and we just got back from my 4th deployment last year in December. We were in Kuwait, and then our unit went to 7 different countries across the Middle East. So I've spent my life serving the country. I've spent my life serving people because I'm a server and bartender on Tybee Island. I've been a server bartender since I was 16 years old in high school, and I love people, all right? Something I do every single day is talk to real people. I don't talk to the political class. I work at a little dive bar on Tybee Island, so I don't talk to the rich folk out there. I talk to real people who are actually living their life. They are struggling. They are fighting. I don't care who's in the White House. I'm not going to make my campaign pro or anti whoever is up there, because when I become governor of Georgia, I don't care if it's a Republican or Democrat in the White House. It's the governor of Georgia's job to keep the federal government the heck out of our state. They don't know Georgia. With all due respect to Donald Trump from New York and Kamala Harris from California, I don't want a California, New York, Georgia. Let's keep Georgia, Georgia. I have been through my own struggles in my life. I get it, I'm only 36 years old, and you're asking me how can I become governor? Well, I have been through a lot more than a lot of people have, whether it's my 14 years in the military, my 4 deployments, or my struggle with alcohol addiction and my mental health struggles. I almost ended my campaign 2 weeks ago because the media won't, no offense, the media won't pay attention to me. A local media outlet in Savannah literally said, when you raise $100,000, we'll write an article about you. I've raised $8,000, I've donated $5,000. The reason I'm in a t-shirt on that picture right there is because I just got done running a 24-hour marathon around Forsyth Park in Savannah, where I donated all the money to Renegade Paw Rescue in Savannah. I'm donating money that I raise because I'm literally trying to help people while running for office, because people are struggling. I donate half, if not all, the money that I raise. I've literally walked across Georgia twice and donated the money to the American Legion in Statesboro for their homeless veterans program. Literally walked. I put a rucksack on my back. I don't have the millions of dollars for a bus to do a bus tour, but I'm kind of fit, and I put a rucksack on and I can walk. So I walked from Tybee Island up to Statesboro, Athens, down to the state capital in Atlanta. And then in March, I went from Atlanta all the way down to Waycross, Georgia, and back up to Savannah. The best part about that walk is, if you follow my social media, I now have a dog named Lieutenant. 130 miles outside of Atlanta in Hawkinsville, Georgia, a dog showed up. That dog showed up, and I started petting it. That first day that he was with me, he walked 15 miles. 211 miles later, that dog is now my dog in Savannah, Georgia. That dog chose me. You should too. But something I tell people all the time is, too many Republicans are just trying to either suck up to Trump or tiptoe around him. Follow my social media, you'll realize I'm not afraid of anybody. I don't care how much money you got. I don't care that this is a Republican primary and you can't win without his endorsement. Because in 2022, I ran for the state Senate, and the candidate that I liked the most in that race was one of the Democrats. We had a 12% voter turnout in that primary in Chatham County. 12%. That's disgusting. I had my first media interview yesterday, and he said, "How are you planning on winning?" And I said, "Because I want to turn that 12% into 30, because I know who they'll be voting for. They'll be voting for not the red or the blue guy, the red, white, and blue guy." What breaks my heart is that I have the American flag tattooed all over my arms. I have a Statue of Liberty Baby Yoda on my chest. I'm as annoyingly patriotic as it gets. I love this country, and I will always serve until I die, get kicked out, or become governor. But something that breaks my heart is I do live in blue Chatham County. and I hear too many of my liberal/Democrat friends say that they hate the country or they don't like flying the flag because I'm a Republican and it seems like my party has tried to steal the flag. That flag does not represent one party or the other. That flag represents every American, every single American. I want to give people a reason to be proud of that flag again, no matter who's in the White House. Both candidates last year talked about if the other's elected, we're going to lose our democracy. We're going to become a fascist country, or we're never going to have an election again. Those are fear tactics by politicians. Because I promise you, in 2028, we're going to have another most consequential election of our lifetime. People say we've never been more divided. Pretty sure the Civil War, the Vietnam War, we were pretty divided back then and we got through it. Because that American flag will outlive every single politician that's on this stage and right here, just like it always has. That American flag will still be there because it stands for the best of this country. Something I want to bring to people is I want to try to destigmatize addiction. I want to look at people and tell them I see that struggle. Addiction does not care if you're red or blue. It does not care if you're black, white, green, purple. It doesn't discriminate. So I made a video yesterday and I got really personal and vulnerable, all right? Like I said, I almost ended my campaign 2 weeks ago because I was really frustrated that I get it, it's a long shot. Like I said, I've raised $8,000. The media won't pay attention to me. I was like, I'm gonna end this, but then I realized not too long ago, 3-4 years ago, when I was I'm a year and a half sober now. 3-4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, I didn't see where my life was going. At the time, it was 3 deployments, military service. I've been a server my whole life. What am I doing with my life? Struggling financially, mental health issues, physical health issues because of the alcohol. And I was sitting there one night at my desk. I had a bottle of vodka and a bottle of pills. When people ask me how I know that God exists, I didn't make a phone call that night because I was drinking and I started taking those pills. I didn't make a phone call. I was by myself. How long it would take for somebody to find me, I have no idea, but somebody stopped me. I'm not running for governor for the people who are doing all fine and dandy. If you got $1 million in your bank account, I'm proud of you. If you've got a really stable job and you know where you're going with your life, that's fantastic. I really am happy for you. If you've never struggled with mental health or addiction, awesome, I'm so happy. I'm running for governor because I want people who feel worthless, who feel like the system is against them and they cannot get out of the grips of it. I'm fighting for people who feel every day like the little bit of light that's in them is swallowed by the darkness. And it's not a political darkness. It's not because of what's going on politically, because politics is just a word. We're gonna get through everything. Republicans said Obama was the end of us. The first term of Trump was gonna be the end of us. Biden was the end of us. Guess what, we're still here. But those people, no matter who's in the White House, are still feeling that pain every single day. I'm running for governor because I want those people to realize I see you, I care about you, and even if I don't know you personally, I love you because I've been there. And I tell people all the time, I'm a Christian, but my goal in life is to not get to heaven. My goal in life and what I work for every single day is to try to help people not live their own hell while on this earth. Because whether you believe in heaven or hell, it's eternal. And hell on earth feels eternal. And I want those people to know If I can get out of it, you can too. God bless you guys. I appreciate your time. KenForGeorgia.com. If you want to follow me, all the social media is on there. God bless you. Thank you so much. Have a great night, guys. Thank you.
I want to thank each one of you all for taking your time out this evening to come out and share this information with us. I'm sure that everyone in the audience was attentive to what you all were speaking of, and some of the things that I saw, that I heard that you all had in common was topics on housing, education, and our voting rights, and those of you all shared some of those same common issues. One of the things that we would like to also see address is homelessness and mental health. Those are two critical issues in our communities. So I'm sure during your campaign, those are some of the other topics that you will be also discussing. But we want to thank you all for coming out. We want to thank everyone for coming out. Is one last thing I want to thank. I just want to say that I